Hi, I'm Christopher Walker with Closely Observed Teaching. In this short video, I want to talk about a way of broaching the subject of conditionals with your students in a way that hopefully will make some sense to them, certainly if it makes sense to you. And as a prop, or as props, it uses just 2 coins. Okay, so the way we can do this is to first of all establish with our students, we can tell them, have a discussion. We can talk about the fact that there's a difference in English between the time of an action and the tense we use to talk about it. So we tend to step back in tense for one of 3 reasons in English, as you know. The first reason will be because we're changing the time of the action. So this would be like moving from a present tense to past simple because the action was yesterday. The second reason, and this is what we're going to look at in this video, is about reality. So we're taking a step back from reality. Reality, what's real, is in the present, and we move back one to talk about present unreality. And then the third main reason that we might step back in tense would be to show politeness or social distance. So this is the difference between do you want a drink and would you like a drink? We're stepping back in the tense, even though we're talking about the same moment and the result of the request. If the answer is yes, the result will be the same. But we're stepping back to show social distance. We're basically showing politeness. So imagine that you have some sentences, and every time when you go from one sentence to the next, you change one of the tenses back. You go back 1 tense. Every time you do that, you'll be awarded a coin. Now, you need, what I do is on the whiteboard, I'll have the sentences, and then to help the visual metaphor at the bottom, I'll put 2 pictures of buckets. The first one will be marked reality, and the second one will be marked time. And the rule is, the first coin that you get when you change back a tense, you have to spend it on a change of reality. The second coin that you get will be spent on changing the time. So the sentences that I use for my example, I start with, if I see Tom, I will say hello. So going by the classical naming system, this is a first conditional sentence. So it's a present situation with a present to future result. So there are no changes in time or tense from the present. But if we step back 1 tense, we could make the sentence, if I saw Tom Cruise, I would say hello. Now you say if I saw, so going from present simple to past simple, that gets you 1 coin. You take the coin, you put it into the first bucket, and that's the bucket marked reality. So then you have some concept check questions. Is this real? You say, well, no, it's not. I've put my coin in reality, so I've changed reality. But what time is it? You look at the second bucket, which is empty, and you say, well, look, it's an empty bucket, so I've not changed time. Time is still the same. So if I saw Tom Cruise is at the same time as if I see Tom. There's no difference in time. It's quite a crucial step here. Same on the other side, going from I will say hello back to I would say hello gets you a coin, because you're going from the present form, I would say, of will to the past form of will, which is would. It's 1 coin. Again, it goes into reality. Do you say hello to Tom Cruise? Well, no, because he's not here to say hello to. So that's a step away from reality. It's not changing the time. The time bucket is still empty. So that would be the equivalent of second conditional. So it's the same time as first conditional, but you've changed the reality, but not the time. Then we can go another step back. So we started if I see Tom to if I saw Tom Cruise to saying I make a little story about how Tom Cruise came to town. I didn't see him and I'm really upset about it. So you could say if I had seen Tom Cruise, I would have said hello. So if we look at that, if I see Tom goes to if I saw Tom Cruise, that's 1 coin. If I had seen Tom Cruise, you've now got 2 coins. The first one has to go in the reality bucket, the second one goes in the time bucket. So that means you're changing both time and reality. You're saying that this is not a real situation because Tom Cruise didn't come, and we're also taking a step back in time. We're only taking 1 step back because that's all we can do really. We're going into the past, but we're using past perfect because we have two changes. We need the 2 coins. On the other side of the equation, the other clause in the sentence, I would have said hello. Again, we have one step going from will to would. Then we have the second, we get another coin because we're going from would to would have. I would have said hello. We've made our modal verb perfect. And because we have the 2 coins, we've changed reality, that's the first thing, and we've changed time. Both of the buckets are full. You can also introduce mixed conditionals here. You could say, okay, so let's take away the time coin and putting it to the side. So now we've only got 1 coin and it's in the first bucket, which is reality. So let's start with the first part. If I'd seen Tom Cruise, okay, but now we've only got 1 coin to spend, so we can only take 1 step back in tense. So you could say, if I'd seen Tom Cruise, I would be happy now. So that's just would, not would have, it's would. You've only spent 1 coin, you've only changed reality, not the time, and it's therefore a mixed conditional. The first part is from third conditional, it's talking about a past thing that you can't change, and then the second part is talking about a present result or consequence that's just not true, it's unreal as well. So you could say I would be happy now, or I wouldn't be sad now. You can, set that up as you wish. So that's essentially how I teach it to the students. You can do it kinesthetically. If you get some coins, you could even use Cuisenaire blocks if you prefer. If you've got a set gathering dust in the corner of the staff room, get those Cuisenaire blocks down and tell them, you get a little red block every time you go back 1/10. You have to put the block first in the reality bucket, and then the next one goes in the time bucket. When they come to produce sentences, start with the buckets. You say, okay, are you talking about now or the past? And if they say the past, you say, great, you get a coin, goes in the time bucket. So if you're talking about the past, is it real or not real? They say, well, it's not real, it's the past. Say, great, here's the second coin, goes in the reality bucket. When you want to make a sentence, you need to spend both. If you spend both coins, you go back 2 tenses. So there we go, that's the metaphor that I've been using recently with slightly more advanced classes. I think B2 and above, C1, it works quite well because the students will have been exposed to all of these conditionals. They will have met first, second, third and mixed. They'll perhaps be a little bit bamboozled still, thinking, why do you have these tense changes if you're not changing the time? This is one way of understanding that at a conceptual level. So try it out, give it a go in your classroom, and if it's an absolute disaster, you can always blame me. You can say some guy off YouTube suggested this. You don't need to take responsibility for your disasters that way, do you? But if it does work, please come back and let me know, because I'm really curious. But also perhaps consider giving this video a like, maybe subscribe to the channel. It's always good for getting more exposure for these videos. So that's about it really. Until next time, thank you very much for joining me, and good luck in the classroom.